Hi, today the topic is about inoperative account and closing of bank account, either customer induced or bank induced format of closing the bank account. So what is an inoperative account? An account that is not operated for close to 2 years is called inoperative account. So what is 2 years operation that is being seen? Either the debit transaction or the credit transaction which is customer induced, or third party being crediting into that account. All these three are considered as active account, meaning if any one transaction has happened within a span of 2 years, that account is termed as operative account. If there is no transaction which is customer induced, why I am specifically saying about customer induced is there may be credits into the account which is generated by the bank on the quarterly interest credit, or the charges that is being levied for non-maintenance of the minimum balance requirement. So these are also debits and credits into the account. That is not considered as customer induced. So that may go against terming that account as inoperative. So any account that is not operated for 2 years will be considered as inoperative or dormant account. So the transactions, as I told, customer induced it should be, or also third party credits into the account considered as genuine transactions for considering an account as operative or inoperative. Bank should make an annual review of each account that they are maintaining with them, and then find out whether there is any credit entry or debit entry done. And for more than a year, if not done, then customer has to be contacted by the bank. So bank should also ascertain the reason for non-operation of the accounts. If the customer has shifted his residence, then he should be recommended to shift his account or close the account and transfer these funds into the newly opened account. So bank can send a letter also. If the letter has come back, then bank can contact the person who has introduced this account to the bank. In case of whereabouts of the customer are not traceable, they can also try to find out through the contact details given, that is mobile number or landline number which is given to the bank at the time of opening of this account. In case of non-resident Indians, the bank can reach the customer through email also. So email response is considered as a request from the customer for continuation of the operation in the account. In case the customer is requested for reasons which is acceptable to the bank for not operating an account, the bank can consider giving an extension of 1 more year to continue this account as an operative account. If no transaction happens within that extended 1 year, the bank can automatically term this account as inoperative account. So what are the to classify an account as inoperative? Both the types of transaction, that is debit as well as credit transactions induced at the instance of the customer as well as the third party should be considered. Transaction in the account should be monitored at a higher level to prevent fraud and for making any suspicious transaction report. Operations in such account should be allowed after due diligence as per the risk category of the customer. No charges be levied for activation of a dormant or inoperative account. Interest on savings account should be credited on a regular basis whether the account is operative or inoperative. And very, very important point, if a fixed deposit receipt matures and proceeds are unpaid by the bank, are not claimed by the customer, the amount left unclaimed with the bank would attract savings bank's interest rate, which is applicable for each bank. So that rate has to be given on the matured fixed deposit unclaimed, that is overdue fixed deposits. And on May 6, 2014, RBI has instructed commercial banks not to levy any penal charges for non-maintenance of minimum balance in the inoperative account. And one more parameter which RBI has considered as genuine transaction, that is customer induced transaction in the account, is dividend on shares which is credited to savings bank account can also be considered as a customer induced transaction, and the account can remain operative even if there is no customer induced transaction as per the earlier requirement. So dividend warrant credit mandate also can be considered as operation done by the customer which into the credit account. So this is about the inoperative account. Now closing of a bank account. There are 2 points under which the bank account's closure can happen. One is customer induced, where customer wants to close the account. So that can be immediately considered after removal of surrendering the checkbooks, cancelling all the debit cards and all the standing instructions from the account, and if there is any other lien to the account can be immediately closed. The second point is the bank induced to closure. If it is undesirable, like more checks are being given and then it is bouncing, the bank feels that the transaction happening in the account is suspicious, then bank can close the account. For that first instance, they have to send a letter asking the details of the credits or debits that is happening into the account. Customer explanation has to be sought. One letter has to be sent. There is no response from the customer. The second letter can be initiated from the bank's side to the customer, stating that on such and such date, on a specific date, the account will be closed. The bank has the right not to allow any further credits into the account after the initiation of the second letter. Meanwhile, if there are any checks which is coming into the account and if the account has sufficient balance, the bank is bound to honor those instruments. So banker should not on his own close the account without such notice or transfer the account from one branch to another branch without the notice being served to the customer. In case of default by the customer to close the account after these 2 letters, banker should close the account and send the money by draft to the customer. So bank has the right to do that. On receipt of the notice of a death of a customer, banker must stop operation in the account, and because the authority of the customer is terminated, the contract is terminated, so operations has to be stopped. So if a banker receives a notice regarding the insanity of the account holder, he is bound to stop payments from his account. The relationship between banker and his customer is also affected if the customer becomes insolvent. So on receipt of a garnishee order from the court, the banker is bound to suspend payment from the account of the customer. So these are the various parameters under which the banker acts against the wish of the customer, either in closing the account or stopping operation in the account. So we have seen 2 parameters today: inoperative account status and closing of an undesirable operative account by the bank. So further videos we will see more on the general banking parameters. Thank you very much. You can give your comment on the description for me to answer in case there is any query on this. Thank you very much. Bye bye.